Hello, everyone. Welcome to One Truth Ministry podcast. We're so happy for everyone that's tuning in. Today, we have
Yay.
such a great topic. With us is Deborah Jamarillo. Did I say your last name right?
You sound like our pastor who
Jaramillo.
married us was like, Harami Chicho. He was Italian. Oh, God.
Jaramillo. Okay. Jaramillo. Um, yeah, our dear Debbie. Yeah, and Debbie, Happy New Year's. It's so great to connect with you again and so great to
Happy New
have you
Year,
here.
Annette.
Um, Elgin and Elias and thank you. Elgin and Elias are out. They're in New York, so that some of the team aren't here, so that's why it's me and Debbie today. So bless you guys right now, wherever you guys are in New York and that youth event. We know that the Lord is going to do amazing things. And meanwhile, um, we have a great topic today for the youth and everyone tuning
Yes.
in, adults, right? Especially after Christmas, and it's a new year as well, you know? So,
Yes. Happy New Year to everyone.
it's Happy New Year. So, it's a time for New Year's resolutions. And before we start, I'd like to ask Debbie, what are a few New Year resolutions that you have?
Every year we sit down and we do a New Year's resolutions. And this year was the first year that no New Year's resolutions did not happen. Surprisingly. I think we're just, gonna trust the Lord with whatever happens. These last 2 years have been, pretty chaotic. For a lot of families, a lot of people, and kind of just trusting the Lord and what He's going to do in our lives. And sadly, no New Year's resolutions, but I do have a plan. I do have a goal. I do have a few
Hmm.
goals. We just moved to Texas exactly 2 months ago. So we left beautiful California. The
I
tacos, the
know.
food, the weather. Oh my God. You pay for it, right? That's what you pay for by living in California. Um, and
Yeah.
we made the move out here. And so a lot of moving parts, trying to get adjusted, but loving it here so far, and trusting God and whatever He's going to do in our lives. And I was lucky enough, my whole family came from Cali for the holidays. So it
Hmm.
was so nice it felt like I
Beautiful.
never left. Right. My
Yeah.
sisters, my siblings, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, my parent, so it was awesome to be in family. And us, every time we get together, we just,
Yeah.
worship time. That's it.
Yes. You guys are the
So,
worship family. I love going to your family reunions. It's always, I come out
oh,
ministered and
I come out
joyful and
minister. I give my heart to the Lord every time we get together. No, but yeah, it's
I
been
know.
it's a blessing to be able to have family out
Mhm.
here in Texas, and then actually have family come and visit. So we had such a great time, and it's just been great. But I know you just got back from Spain, and how was that?
Yeah, yeah, I did. I did. It was beautiful. Thank you for, having my back while I'm out there, being a true sister and supporting me. I really appreciate that. It was a blessing. People there received so much, and I received as well by giving. It says that when you give, you receive as well. You don't come back empty-handed. And my heart's in Spain too. My heart's here as well. So let's see where the Lord leads me.
Amen. Oh my God, I'm
Yeah.
so excited. And thank you
Hmm.
for moderating this. And when Elias and Elgin had reached out to me, I was like, yes, count me in. So we're gonna get right into it. I know we have um about an hour, with this podcast, and it's really just an informational podcast specifically for like our young people, young adults, young families,
Hmm.
to really encounter and learn more about just finances, right? and learning just the overall value of having a plan and having a budget or saving money or investing
Yes.
or your retirement, right? And so I am looking forward to, showing a few slides that I put together. Obviously, I wish I could have more time, because this is I did a conferencia de damas. We're going to be bilingual. I hope everyone's okay with that. We're going to
I
be
think
jumping back
so.
and forth.
Yeah. Mhm. I think
um,
so.
with
Yeah.
Iglesia Rosa de Saron, my home church, born and raised, my mom's home church, my grandmother's first church when she came from Guate. Oh my
Mhm.
God, Army as we all know it. And I did a conferencia de damas, and it was just an amazing conference, conferencia de finanzas. And there's so many questions, you can't ever just
Yeah.
fit everything into just 1 hour. So I'm going to do my best to kind of really hint and pinpoint some really good topics that I think are really imperative, like in our lives, in our daily
Yeah.
lives. And ultimately to help us get to that just financial stability or just even
Yeah.
financial knowledge, right? I think when you
Mhm.
and I were talking a few days ago, we're like, they don't really teach you this in school, and especially in our culture, right? Sad to say, in our Latino culture, we don't really talk about like money, right? It's like hush hush. You don't really talk about that, and it's taboo, kind of. But
Mhm.
hopefully, with this, little podcast that we got going on, and the platform that One Truth Ministries gave us today, we can learn a few things. So, thank you so much again.
Definitely. Definitely. We're so excited to learn everything that you have put together. And I'm
Amen.
sure the youth, everyone listening, youth, adults, you can always relearn on how to
Hmm.
be financially successful. And I feel that the Lord wants us to live in abundance, and He wants to bless us in
Amen.
every
Amen
area.
to that. Yes, I receive
So,
that.
but sometimes we need to make wise decisions. So this is one of the reasons why we're here. And thank you, Debbie, for coming again. And I want to ask, can you give us, let's see, what's your background? Share with us your background and your walk to financial success, the struggle being Latina, and like I want to,
Hmm.
because sometimes we're dreamers, and we're first generation, we don't see that
Hmm.
financial success, and sometimes the
Right.
youth or me growing up, it felt it's sometimes impossible. Like, oh, you see the upper class, and we're just the middle
Hmm.
class.
Hmm.
So what's your
Hmm.
what's your story?
No, for sure. Both of my parents are from Guatemala. I gotta represent Chapina 100%. No, but I'm from San Francisco, born and raised. Yeah, my family comes from humble beginnings. They came from Guatemala to give us a better life. Not yet, Eric. And those are just some credentials for people that care. Just kidding. And yeah, we did not have all of the resources growing up. We did not have a lot of the resources that usual middle class or even upper class, I mean, have available at their fingertips. And so I knew early on that if I wanted to kind of become someone, anyone in this world, while we are here, right? Our eternal home is in heaven. But while we are here, I do want to become someone. I need to get an education. I need to educate myself. I need to study hard. I was kind of, I don't want to say I was like a nerd, but I was like really into school. Like I loved school. Like my mom would punish me when I was in elementary, middle school. She's like, mañana no vas a ir a la escuela si no te pon-" I'm like, no, mom, I want to go to school. Right. And, I just knew that if I wanted to get out there, I had to go to school. I did really well in school all the time, elementary school, middle school, high school. And then I thought, okay, college. Okay, now it's getting real. High school, how are my parents gonna afford college? They can't afford it. I surely can't afford it. What am I gonna do? And you kind of I could have easily been like, you know what? I'm just gonna work full time and just help my parents out, which is fine, which is, I'm not degrading that in any way, shape, or form. but I knew that I wanted something a little bit more for myself, and no one was going to go out there and get it for me. So I applied to a few universities. I applied to FAFSA, which most of you should know about now. Financial aid is out there, people. Free money is left on the table every single day. You just have to go out there and get it. Apply to scholarships. There's still time. Hey, your fall semester doesn't start till August. So for anyone considering college, there's so many scholarships out there, so much opportunity. And I was able to receive financial aid. I was able to receive scholarships. And I decided on my dream school, Dominican University of California in San Rafael, Marin County, beautiful small town, gorgeous campus. I fell in love. We can't hear you, Annette. You're on mute. I don't know if you were saying something, but it sounded like you were saying something. Oh, there you are. And so
It's just my facial expressions.
And so, long story short, I decided on Dominican University, and I was actually gonna study to be an attorney. My major was political science, my first year, and then eventually shifted to business. And that's how I started getting into business management, putting in forth just the work in, and learning more about accounting, finances. You just learn all that in school. And so from there, I actually knew that, okay, everyone is, everyone's getting their bachelor's at this point. Like, it's after the 2008 market. I graduated in 07. And so then 2008 happened, the financial crisis hit the world. And I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? I need to differentiate myself from every other, and potential employee that wants to take the same job. How am I going to do that? The way that I'm going to stand out is by getting my master's degree. And so I did that program at Dominican, and I actually got to study abroad my last year in France at our sister school. So it was just an incredible experience. God truly opened up every single door, because never was there a chance for me to even question it. Just because of all the amazing support that I received from family, from friends, and just trusting in the Lord and what He was going to do. So you can put the slide up now, Eric. But that's just a little bit about myself. If you're considering college, consider Dominican University, my alma mater.
Okay.
That's when I actually graduated with my bachelor's in 2011, is when I got into the banking industry. So I started at the bank, and I eventually, with years of experience and also with my degrees, they actually helped pay for part of my graduate degree. A lot of employers offer tuition reimbursement. So please know that I think almost every employer offers tuition reimbursement. And that's something that a lot of people don't know. And I moved up that way, and I became a manager, and I was managing, teams and large groups of people for almost 10 years. And I was able to apply what I learned in school now in the real world. At the same time, I worked with nonprofits. So you always have to, obviously, yes, we need a paycheck. We need to survive in this world. We need to pay our bills. But ultimately also finding something that you're very passionate about. Also, singing and music and worship is my other passion. You can have many passions. It's all right to have multiple, right? But giving back to the community was something that was part of me since very young. And so as of 5 years this year, this April is going to be 5 years that we co-founded Dev Mission, which is a nonprofit in San Francisco. And we actually train untapped young people in programming, coding. Some youth from my old church actually went through the program. And the goal is to really close the digital divide of Latino people or Latino young people in the tech industry. So that's a little bit of history of what I've been doing, but let's jump right into it, right?
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. I really think that you are a role model to this generation. And I'd point one thing to everyone listening, apply to those scholarships, something that your Debbie did. And there's money out there.
I'm not
Down.
sure if, but
Hey,
I
Debbie.
think you're
So, what
breaking
are
off a
some,
little bit.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, I'm not sure what the last thing you heard was, but I have a question. So, what are a few things that you can share to all the listeners in order for everyone listening to be financially successful, especially the youth, um, so the youth can prepare for the future? What are some basic things that you can share?
Right. And we're going to talk about a few things, but the first thing that I want to share is money management. So, Eric, you can put that slide up. Awesome. Money management is very important into everyday life, whether you're single, whether you're married, whether you're whatever it is, whatever your status is, living with family. Um, Whatever it is, money management is key and imperative to our everyday lives. Why? Because we're going to be able to save money and we're going to be able to budget, right? So those two things are the first things that we want to talk about. And you can easily find, different ways of, or different templates online for a budget. I just use old school. I use an Excel spreadsheet. So every month, or at least every other month, I adjust, things that I know I needed to change. Um, and so what you see here is someone earning, let's say, $3,600 a month. The very first thing that you want to do, and I know Annette has been having issues with her internet, so I will keep going. No problem there. But what I want to show is paying yourself first and paying yourself that 10%, at least if you can, and also contributing to your 401k. So you want to pay yourself first. Once you do that, then we can talk about all the other items that are on your budget, like rent, like your utilities, your bills, your water bill, your cell phone bill, your car note if you have one, groceries, eating out. How many of us love to eat out? I love to eat out. Your auto insurance, medical bills, things, that may come up. And so one thing to understand, and it's crucial in any budget, whether you rent or you own, is your mortgage or your rent should not exceed more than 30% of your net income. If it does, then you're going to want to reconsider or downsize, because then you're going to be really tight on money and you're going to be giving up other things, and you're not going to be able to really wisely manage your budget. So 30%. The other thing that we want to consider as we go through our budget is considering our needs and our wants. This can be really kind of eye opening for a lot of us because, like, eating out, let's say $200, right? And I think Annette and I were talking about this earlier. She's still frozen on my end, so I don't know if she's up and running on your end, but um, for example, like eating out, like in the middle of the work week or the middle of the work day. And you're spending, $20 here, $10 there in the morning for your coffee, or, for lunchtime, whatever it is, the amount that you're spending. Consider, right? There you are. Consider, consider packing
Right.
lunch from home, right? Consider making your coffee at home and bringing your mug to work. So those few dollars are going to add up at the end of the month, right? So those are some of the things that you want to consider. We, as girls, we love to go shopping, right? For the guys, I don't know what they're into: sports, games, video games, cars. I don't know, watches. Right? We all have different desires and wants, but in reality, you kind of have to just backtrack and say, okay, am I really gonna need this, or is it just a want? So every time you pick something up from the store, is it a need or a want? Um, So that's one of the first things that you all should be doing. So just if you take anything from this slide, take the two things. Pay yourself first, which means 10% of goes straight into your savings account, and also your 401k, adding money to your 401k if your employer offers it. If your employer doesn't offer it, then an IRA account, which we're going to go into a little bit more at the end of this. And the second thing is your rent or your mortgage should not exceed 30% of your net income. Okay. Annette is still frozen. So it seems like I'm writing solo, Eric. um, the next thing that we want to talk about, you can go to the next slide, which I think is very important in the young lives, is credit. And so credit can be uh just there's so many things and so many topics that we can discuss when it comes to credit. Credit is very important. It's like the holy grail of everything. Like literally to rent an apartment, to purchase a car. Employers are looking at credit scores. I remember, I think it was like my first year as a manager. This is like almost 10 years ago. I had someone apply to hi Eric. Yeah, it's Annette's having issues, so
Yeah.
we'll tag team.
Yeah.
We are, and she applied for this job, for this position under my team. And when we did the background check, the credit score or the credit check, they also run a credit check when you do a background. This is 10 years ago. And as an employer, the bank wanted her to explain why her credit score was so low. Because to them, credit score represents responsibility. It represents a number of things. And so when I reached out to her, I'm like, hey, we need I need you to fill out a paper or just a document of you explaining what happened. And in other cases, I had to turn down people because they didn't pass the background check due to their credit score. And so you see the importance of credit, here in America. Like I mentioned, to even rent an apartment, you need a credit score. Student loans, to get lower interest rates. And so what is credit? Credit is when a bank or even a business allows, its clients to purchase goods or a service, and on the sole promise that you're going to pay them back. And so if you're able to keep that promise and fulfill that loan payment, your credit score is going to start going up, right? One of the things, I have an image here of the credit kind of, numbers. And so you'd never want to be below like in the 620s, 650s. Like you don't want to be in that metric. The best, you definitely want to be in the 720 and higher. Why? Because when you are in that category, you're going to get the lowest interest rates. You're going to be able to buy a house. If that's in your goal. You're going to be able to rent an apartment. You're going to get that dream job. You're going to be able to buy a car. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people, at the time when I was at the bank, come in and they just need a mode of transportation, and they just have no credit. They want to start building their credit, right? So as soon as you turn 18, you have that ability to start opening, either a credit card. There's a lot of college credit cards. There's a lot of, first credit cards that a lot of banks offer with, the things that you want to look for, like I mentioned here, is low fees or no fees, on the credit card or that loan, low interest rates, making sure that you're paying off as much as you can. Making sure that you can afford it. And most importantly, this is one thing that I really want you guys to emphasize or focus on, is keeping your balances below 30%. So if you have a $100 credit card, don't spend more than $30 on it. Okay. Paying on time, avoiding cash advances, because those can be really hefty fees. But all in all, you want to prove to those banks that you are, stable enough to pay your loan back, and that you are someone that they can trust. And so as you go through your life stages, you grow up with your parents, you go to high school, you graduate, you go to college. Now you're becoming more independent. After college is what? Getting married, having kids, getting married, buying a house, having kids, all that good stuff. You're going to need credit throughout all of those life stages in our roadmap that we have. Any questions here, Anna, since you're back on?
Well, we have one question in the chat, and
Oh,
that is, I believe, coming from all the way in New York. Somebody's typing because I
oh,
didn't type this. But
hey.
for a teenager, how early should a parent start them off? How should a parent start them off building their credit
Yes,
score?
as soon as you can. I had clients who would add their daughter or their son as young as like 15. Once they start understanding like money management, like savings account, a checking account, once they start understanding that, a lot of my clients would just add their son or their daughter as an authorized user, okay? Not as an actual like person in the loan or in the credit card, as an authorized user. They get that credit card, and as a parent, you're paying it off. You give them a limit, right? You're not gonna let them go spending your money away. You give them that limit, and then it actually starts to build your credit. So by the time that they're 18, and they can then get their own credit cards. So yeah, just go into your bank and add them as an authorized user. I've seen kids as young as like 14 years old.
And Deborah, just to kind of, because let's be real, there are a lot of people here that are not good at adulting, quote unquote.
Right.
What would you suggest is something like what are some things that at least some people should look for when like they're applying for a credit card, or like for example how you said like as an employer, right, that
Right.
you've had to turn people down because
Mhm.
of credit checks and everything like that. I mean,
Mhm.
so for example, like someone like myself who maybe doesn't have a credit card started per
Mhm.
se, right?
Right.
Like how does someone navigate that as to like, okay,
Right. And
where do we even begin,
right. And
right?
it's a great question. Because trust me, I've had clients who would come up, they were in their 30s, had never had a credit card, had never had any type of loan. They paid cash for everything. So it was like, whoa, to me, but to them it was, and it's normal for a lot of people, and that's okay. And so for someone who's just starting a credit, their credit journey, let's say, obviously first you want to go into a bank, especially to the bank that you have your checking and your savings account. Everyone has a checking and savings account, right? I mean, I want to assume that everyone has a checking and savings account. So you
No,
want to go in
mine's in my mattress over there.
underneath the mattress there. And so you definitely want to be able to go to that home bank, right? Because your banking relationship is already with them. So you'll have more of a probability of getting approved for your very first credit card. They're going to give you a list of cards that they offer. And as I mentioned earlier, you want to look for, low interest rates, no fees. There are credit cards that have fees, like really, like your Amex Black cards or your Chase Sapphire cards, which offer great benefits for those who travel out of the country. I mean, it's amazing the benefits that come along with it. But for someone just starting out, if you're in college, they have college credit cards that have no fees, that have cashback rewards. There's amazing credit cards out there with no fees. And a lot of them offer like 0% interest, like the first 18 months, and so as long as you pay your credit card in full each month, you will never pay interest rates on that credit card. So that's one thing to also look into. And yeah, just going to sit down with the banker and saying, hey, I want to start building my credit. What are my options? Worst case scenario, you'll have to get a secured credit card, which is your own money that you put into that card and prove to the bank that you're borrowing from yourself and you're paying it back. And we'll go a little bit deeper we can put up the next slide actually, because it goes right into it. Building credit and repairing credit, right? A lot of people, as I was saying, let me put this up because I have my little notes here and I have my dual monitor here, but I just have to play around with it sometimes. So when it comes to credit, there's 5 C's that you want to consider and look into. 5 C's is first is character, capacity, capital, collateral, and conditions. Let me actually switch this really quick because I this way. Sorry, guys. And so with the 5 C's, stability. Character means stability, pretty much. How long have you been at your current address? They're going to look at how long have you had your job, and do you have a good record of paying your bills? And so the second point here is capacity. Capacity also means, excuse me, ability. And so your ability to pay that loan back, right? So what is your debt to income ratio, or your DTI, which is what everyone calls it in the finance world. So your DTI is your pretty much your debt to income. So your income, what is your income, and what is your debt every month? Number 3 is very important too, capital. What is capital? Net worth. What is your net worth? What do you own? What assets do you have? What liabilities do you have? So assets meaning, real estate, your home, your car, if it's paid off, investments, which we're going to, hopefully we have time to get into investment. That's one of the last slides.
And investment's a big topic right now.
It is. Yeah. Investments, your 401k, and what cash also, you have in your accounts. The number 4 is collateral. So collateral is also a guarantee. So at this point, the lender has a right to take ownership and use of your assets and use that to pay the debt if you ever were to fall off and not be able to make those payments. The last thing is conditions. Excuse me. One thing that I'm so sorry.
No worries.
Is the overall economy. Some of the factors that go into this are GDP, which is gross domestic product. The economies, growing. I mean, the largest GDPs are USA and China. And inflation. We can see how inflation in the last 12 months has just skyrocketed. I mean, bacon now costs like $12. Gas in San Francisco is like $7. It's crazy. And the unemployment rate. So these are just some of the factors that when a business or a bank is going to lend money, they're going to consider all of these things. And it's really important for us to analyze our own life in our own finances, and seeing where we really fall into with these 5 C's. Going right into repairing credit, or do you guys have any questions? I mean, is there any so far?
I think you're doing good, Debbie.
Awesome.
I had bad connection, but I jumped back in and you're doing great. Yeah.
Awesome.
If there are any questions in the chat, anybody, just feel free to drop them in. Use the little hashtag ask1tm, right? And in Spanish, same thing. So
nice.
Feel free to drop them in the chat, and we'll get to them when we can.
Yeah,
awesome.
Definitely.
So back into it. So one of the ways, maybe you're thinking, you know what, I built credit and I mess up. What am I going to do? What can I do to repair my credit? Because eventually, yes, I do want to buy a house. Yes, I need a car. Yes, I need XYZ, whatever it is. The very first thing that you want to do is order a copy of your credit report. And you can do this for free. Okay. If anyone has ever not done this, please do it. Make this a resolution. Even if you have no credit, just do it, please, because you'd be surprised how identity theft works. And you'd be like, wait, I have a credit, or I have a loan. No, I don't have. And you'd be surprised. Trust me. Order a copy of your credit report, and you can do this annually. So every year, do this. I haven't done it maybe in 2 years. So I fall short on that point, but I know where my credit stands, and I manage everything pretty good. So the way you get it for free, okay, from the 3 credit bureaus, from Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Those are the 3 credit bureaus that decide your grade. They're pretty much giving you a grade. Think of this as like going back to high school or college. They're going to give you a grade. And they're going to say, this person's an A, B, C, or F. One or the other.
The grades never end, even in adulthood, huh?
Yes, never ends in adulting. So once you get that report, and either it's going to be really hefty or it's going to be just a few pages. I remember the first time I did an annual report must have been like 12 years ago. And yeah, it was nothing. And then I did it again. You obviously keep doing it. And then over the years, it just piles up, because I bought a house, I, have a car, I paid off my student loans and so forth. And one of the things you want to do is analyze it, sit down, go through it. And they're going to tell you, you're going to be like, whoa, there's a medical bill that I paid off in 2007. I mean, there's things there that you're going to be like, I forgot about that. You're going to be surprised. One thing that you want to focus on is anything that you think is incorrect or outdated. So anything that you think, okay, I don't remember this. Like, what is this? You're going to write to the credit bureau, Equifax, Experian, or TransUnion, whichever one. Their addresses, I think, are in Atlanta, Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. You're going to write to them and say, hey, this information is incorrect. Please remove it. The credit bureau, okay, is then going to contact the creditor, whoever is saying, oh, Macy's credit card. Yeah. So they're going to reach out to Macy's and say, hey, we need you to verify this. If the creditor does not reply and does not verify it within 30 days, the bureau automatically removes that item from your report. And there you go. Your credit score just got boosted 20 more points.
Wow. That's really good information. That's really good.
Yes. Free info here, guys.
And I think a lot of people, maybe they just lazy or something.
I don't know what it is, but just make time. Trust me.
We have to make time for this.
No, you have to prioritize. I'm telling you, when things become a priority or people become a priority, things change, right? Because you're like, wow, I'm going to benefit from this. Everyone it's all what's in it for me, right? We're selfish people at the end of the day. But this is going to help you become more successful and give you that, ability to get those things that you want, to buy your dream house and creating, at the end of the day, we want to create generational wealth. And that's something that's actually been in our churches, in our pastors' mouth these last few days.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of becoming in my mind, like building that generational wealth. Like I want to focus on giving the best to my children. And at the same time, giving back to the community, helping out my church, while we are here, like terrenalmente, right? Mientras estamos aquí en este mundo terrenal, yo quiero vivir una vida confortable. I don't want to be worrying about, oh my God, what, and I know what that's like because my family, there was times where we did not know where the next meal was going to come from. Right. And what a blessing it would be for me to be able to provide something better for my daughter. Right. And that's really the sole purpose of why our family members left their countries, because they were suffering, or maybe they weren't and they just wanted to come out here. They decided to stay, but they came out here to give us a better life. And so the way that you show your appreciation to your parents, the way that you show your care and your appreciation is by doing these things and being able, I mean, just on a personal note, we obviously just moved from California. We sold our home. I can tell you how amazing it felt giving my mom an envelope and saying, here, this is for you. Only for you. No lo gastes en la nieta. No lo gastes en, anything else. This is for you. And, it's a blessing when you bless other people, right?
It is.
And we're going to talk about how we're going to honor God with our finances, which is something I don't want to miss. I'm just looking at the time and everything.
Yeah.
But so far, I mean, this is great information. I want to finish off that slide though, if we can go back to it. Is making sure that you pay, your current loans on time. And lastly, if you do have, let's say, a credit card, and let's say you become unemployed. I mean, there's since COVID, since pandemic, still going on, right? A lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people are just going through it. A lot of families are going through it. Call the credit card, call that loan and say, hey, I'm currently unemployed, or I'm currently facing X, Y, and Z, or I got hurt, or I got COVID. They will work with you and they will put a pause on your payments, and they'll say, okay, we'll resume in 6 months. There's so much help out there. You just have to call. Like, it doesn't hurt to, with me, I'm going to ask everyone. when it comes to getting something for free or getting, it's like, I'm gonna put myself out there. The worst they can say is no. At least I tried. So far,
Good.
yeah, guys, this is good info. And I get excited about this because this is what I'm passionate about. Like I love business. I love just numbers and getting into it. So but yeah, so far so good. So we can move on to the next slide. Um
Hmm.
which
Oh,
is retirement
retirement. This
and
is
investments, right?
important. It's
And this is
hmm
something that I didn't even know about this until I started working. Like I didn't even know anything about retirement or 401ks or the stock market.
hmm
I was like, what is this new world that I'm
I
being
think especially
exposed to?
the youth, especially, I think should really,
Right.
the youth, they go about their day not thinking about when they're old. So I
Right.
think, youth, if they start thinking of this now, ooh,
Right.
when we're old, you will be
Right.
good.
And and in talking about like that generational wealth, like my parents didn't talk to me
Yeah.
about retirement or investments or the stock
Yeah.
market. Yet I have
Hmm.
clients who spoke to their 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds about the stock market. And I'm like, whoa, what?
And I like
And
that age group, 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds.
these kids are so
Yeah.
smart. Like they are so bright.
Hmm.
Kids are very bright. Like it's amazing to see. I mean, this generation, it's like next level. They know how to fix an iPad so fast, and I'm like, wait, what? um, and so really, it's really creating an environment where money is not taboo, where finances are not taboo, where talking about just the process of like credit. I mean, first, they don't really teach you this at school. Okay, so that's one disservice that our public school system is doing to our young people. Because at the end of the day, kids are coming out of high school, they don't even know what a routing number is or an account number is. And they're looking at you like, what? What is that? And so it's really important that as you start building your family, as you start getting acquainted with people, you get acquainted with people that are like-minded, and that want what's more and what's better, and at the same time passing that on to your kids, right? And so like I'm saying, when it comes to retirement or investments or the stock market, I was like, what is that? Nobody knew. Like no one was able to teach me, right? Not in school, not in my family. And as we were talking about earlier, finances are kind of taboo in our Latino culture, and that's something that we want to break. Like just breaking that chain. Like no, we need to talk to our kids about saving money, about going to college. Of I mean, nowadays you don't even need a college degree. I have young people from our program, Dev Mission in San Francisco, who are dreamers, who have gone through our boot camp, who are now earning $80,000 a year at 20 years old as a software developer. Okay, that is insane. So the opportunities are out there. We just have to go out there and look for them. We just have to go out there and find them, because there's so much opportunity right now in the tech industry. They're trying to diversify their portfolios in regards to employment, right? Because nothing but chinitos and güeritos are there. So people are looking for us brown people to get in there and disrupt the tech industry. Um, don't ask me about coding or programming because I don't know anything about that. I know I run the nonprofit, but I stick to the bookkeeping and financing side. I think Annette is frozen again. But anyways, so 401k,
I'm back.
401k, sorry. Oh, okay, you're back. Um 401k plan.
This technology today is not working.
Right. And
Okay, go ahead.
so okay, you're there. Okay, good. Um 401k plan is a flexible retirement plan for businesses with employees, right? So if you are employed, if I want to say all employees have a 401k plan, and a lot of the times they match it. So if you, let's say you're contributing 3% or 4% or 5% of your paycheck into your retirement plan, into your 401k, your employer is going to match it. Most of them match it up to like 6 or 7%, I believe. So it's free money, like on the table. Again, you just have to continue doing your research and applying these things to your everyday life. Um, and so it's really just a plan for business that businesses have with their employees, right? The amazing thing is that you don't have to pay taxes on the income, right? Until you withdraw it, when you retire. And I think the average age, correct me, Eric, I don't even know, is like 60 or 65. I'm not sure. I haven't even looked that far into it. But anyways, if you are a contractor, so we have a lot of small businesses, right? A lot of our Latino people have their small business, whether it's cleaning lady, our small business owners, our nannies. Those are small businesses. You are considered a business. This is where your IRA comes up. IRA is an individual retirement account. And this is kind of the same thing as a 401k, except obviously you don't have an employer that's going to be matching it. But you're going to be distributing money from your income into that account. And it's going to be held there either through CDs or stocks or mutual funds or just in the account. This is going to help you for when you retire. And one of the things that Annette and I were talking about earlier, it's one thing that I said, we can't depend on Social Security. Social Security is going to be like depleted by, I don't know, I think 15 years from now. Like there is this thing, I don't know if it's real or not, because I didn't verify the source, but it said something about Social Security, like running out of money and X, Y, and Z. The point is that we can't depend on other people to take care of us, right? At the end of the day, we need to be able to take care of ourselves, take care of our families. And so you want to be able to open up that IRA account and set yourself with a goal, by the year 2050 or whatever age you're going to retire. No, 2050, we'd be in our 80s. Oh my God. Now I'm dating myself. But whatever.
I would be roughly around there, probably.
Okay, cool.
I'm not a super,
Okay,
Oh
okay,
Lord.
cool. Now we're dating each other.
Oh God.
And so set yourself that goal, right? And one thing that I've always done is having, that 2-year plan or that 1-year plan, 5-year plan, 10-year plan, right? Where do you see yourself? And that's in regards to your health. That's in regards to your family. That's in regards to your finances, in regards to your Christian walk with the Lord, whatever that is. And it's been such a blessing. God has truly blessed me so much, and I can't thank him enough for all of the blessings that he's given me. And we all fall short of the glory of God, right? Yet I have seen firsthand the blessing of God upon my life. And I can't stress that enough. In every aspect of my life. And we all have our struggles, and we all deal with a lot of things. But God will never fail us, and God will always sustain us. And at the same time, he's giving us that, autonomy, right? He's given us a brain. He's given us knowledge, wisdom to be able to manage our money correctly. And so if we go to, when we're talking about honoring God, right? And we can go into the next slide. Actually, before we go into honoring God, this is another. Oh my God. Okay. I'm just looking at the time. Taxes are coming up, guys.
And
this is like money on the table.
Coming.
I can't tell you, man. It's either gonna make you or break you, because paying thousands of dollars to what is it? Uncle Sam is not the business. But in the end, they all have to get their cut, right? And so since we're talking to young people today, take advantage of the American Opportunity Tax Credit. This has been around for years. I mean, when I was in college, I did it. And it is available for young people that are in college. And so it literally pays for your tuition. This is aside from FAFSA, okay? This is aside from like your scholarships. It can pay for your books, supplies, Keep track, keep a record of everything that you purchased throughout the year. Like if you just bought your MacBook Pro, okay, that's an expense for education. You need your laptop to do homework, to do your essays, to do your thesis. Oh my goodness. Oh, thank God. I think
Keep
my
the
thesis was like
receipts.
50 pages. Yes, keep the receipts. And even if you don't keep
The
the receipt, we
receipts.
have online banking. Everyone has online banking. Everyone has, so even if you don't keep the receipt, it's all right. But you can claim up to $2,500 every year, guys. This is like awesome. This is money right
Wow.
there. And you get it for the 4 years that you're in college. Okay. One of the requisites are your income. You can't make more than 180,000 jointly, or you can't make more than 90,000. And with the cost of living being so high in San Francisco, I mean, that's one of the things that we were talking about. It's ridiculous, right? This extra money is going to help out. Tax season
Yeah.
is coming up. The other important thing that I brought up to Annette earlier, she was like, I didn't even know about this. Tithing. We all tithe, right? This goes on your taxes. This is charitable donations. These are charitable contributions that you have made to any church or any nonprofit organization. These are considered part of your taxes. So make sure you put that in there. Your church should be giving you an end of year balance of all of the items of all of the offerings or tithings that you have made for the year. And if your church doesn't do that, ask them to start doing that. And if they don't do it, just keep a track yourself of your tithing, because this needs to go on your
Definitely.
taxes. Okay. You don't want to leave money on the table for Uncle Sam.
Good point. There's
Lastly
just so many
is
things.
yes. And lastly is, how are
How
we going
can
to
we
honor
honor
God?
God with our
Yes,
finances?
which is like, that should have been the first thing, right? But I kind of wanted to go through everything first and kind of just focus on this. Um, one of the good quotes on my church website that I found actually is this: when you tithe and you give, you are sowing a seed into the ground, into good ground. The Bible says in Matthew 6:24 that the top competitor of our commitment to Jesus is money. Giving allows us to demonstrate that he is more important to us than material things. When you tithe and you give, you're making an investment in what God wants to do and is doing through us, his church.
Hmm.
We believe there's no organization or group of people with more potential to change the world than the local church. And Annette, go ahead and read the last verse.
Yeah, so it says, honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of your crops, Proverbs 3:9. Honor is another word for worship. All right, so we're called to worship the Lord with our wealth. Contributing financially to God's work is a great way to serve God. And that's right. And I
Amen.
believe that
So,
the youth should develop this.
right. And she froze again. But that's all right. One of the things that, there you are. Sorry, you got cut off.
Yeah,
Um,
I have bad connection down here, but
no worries, no
go
worries.
for it.
Honoring God with our finances. So just remember our budget that we had in the very beginning. Make sure that you include your tithes. Yes, pay yourself first, right? But really, we should be paying God first, right? So 10% of our income should be going automatically to our home church. Um, and if you don't have a home church, go online and find a church that aligns, with the values of the Bible, and donate. You don't know the impact that you're going to be making. As we just moved here to Texas, we've been visiting one church, and you guys can see it on my stories all the time because they have such an amazing, just amazing group of worshipers and leaders. Our pastor this year mentioned, this year alone, they went to the county, okay, of Frisco. I'm in Frisco,
Hmm.
Texas. Um, and all the medical bills of everyone here, of all the residents, like overdue or past due, were about $4 million.
Hmm.
Guess what the church did? Paid off $4 million
Wow.
in this county for
Wow.
people who we don't even know. paid it off.
Wow, that's
The
beautiful.
following
What
year,
a
which was
blessing.
last year, the following year, not so now because we're in Denton County, so then or County. Denton County is a county next to us. Same thing. It was almost like $3 million. Paid it off. So you can see the impact that churches are having in our communities, right? Annette, prime example here. You're a missionary who just came back from Spain and is considering going back. Whatever $100, whatever money that we can donate to your cause. Maybe I can't go to Spain, right? Maybe I can't go to Spain and be a missionary now, but God is sending you, and you have the potential of going, and you have the ability of going and being there. So I'm going to donate to you, and I'm going to be part of that journey of the move that God is going to create in Spain and the people of Spain, right? And so through these different avenues, we can see that we can honor God with our finances, right? And at the end of the day, He's going to bless us threefold, right? Um, so I wanted to leave off with that verse, um, because at the end of the day, God is going to continue blessing us as we continue pouring out our hearts. And just like this verse, and as I wrote there, giving and tithing is a type of worship, right? Honoring is a type of worship, and it's another way that we can worship God.
Amen.
I believe so much in the culture of honor that, I think that it's really important that the youth learn what honor truly is. And when you give to the Lord, everything flows from Him. So it's like we're giving Him just a little bit of everything that He gives to us. So,
amen.
It's really important.
Yeah, no, amen. And so, yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, I try to just really push everything into one hour, but there's just like so much more, and you can go into depth with each topic. I mean, there's so much to learn. There's a lot of online support. There's a lot of online help, a lot of wisdom that you can learn and knowledge, from resources that are free for you. And so, yeah, I think, yeah, we did it right on time. We have a few minutes left, so that's awesome.
Yeah, if you are out
Well,
there
thank you
watching this live
so
stream,
much.
screen cap this right now. Not me pointing, but don't screen cap that. Screen cap the resources. And then not only that, but luckily,
Yes.
as we're live streaming this, go back and watch it. Go back, take notes.
Right.
Yes.
I was taking notes.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
So I'm like,
We have to
I didn't get
relearn.
Yeah, I didn't get
Yeah.
everything, but now I'm like, you know what? I can go. I'm just back in school. I'm gonna go back and rewatch the video and
Right.
write down all the
Yes.
slides and take down all the information that I.
Right. No, it's
As
great
Debbie was speaking, I
information.
was like, red flag in this area, red flag in that area. I was like,
No, it's great, guys.
but
It's amazing. I mean, once you start exposing, people to these types of conversations, you get to learn from each other. You get to, hear each other's feedback, questions, concerns, comments, or hey, I read this article, like, and it's really great to share knowledge. That's how we all can continue
definitely.
growing. Mhm.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Debbie, for all the knowledge you've imparted today. You let it us all through because my connection was not good. Thank you, Eric, for coming on screen. We
It's all
appreciate
good. It's all
you.
good. Yeah. Somebody has to
But
hold
you
the
know
home
what?
base down.
Yes, that's why we're a team here. So we got each other's back. But thank you, Debbie. So informative, and I believe that all the listeners today were blessed, and I believe that the Lord will bless our finances. But we also have to be
Amen.
diligent and do our research. So one thing that you mentioned a lot was look for it, ask, knock the door, seek. Um, and I think that's something that the youth and everyone listening can be more active in order to be
Absolutely.
financially successful. So definitely It was such a blessing. And I do want to remind everyone listening about that the Upper Room has an event coming up.
Yes. So
And
if you
there's
didn't go to
a
New York, right there. I don't know where it is on my
exactly.
screen, but yeah.
It's on this side. So we have a speaker, Allie, and she's going to speak on confidence in God. And I think that everyone can grow in this area.
Yes.
The Lord is definitely everything, supplies everything, every area that we lack. And that's just beautiful that we can have confidence in Him. And there's a
Amen.
lot to learn. So I encourage everyone to join. It's on January 15th. It will be in Vallejo, but for those who aren't going to attend in person, there also will be a Zoom
Hey, that's me.
link available.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you again, Debbie. Thank you so much. It was such a blessing to connect, even though I was in and out. I'm gonna I'm gonna rewatch this video to learn. So thank you,
Awesome.
Eric. God
Thank you
bless you
guys so
all.
much. God
Thank
bless
you
you, everyone.
guys.
Have a
God
good
bless
night.
everyone.
God